Pokemon, which has essentially created NFTs. And we're going to talk about it. And we have a lot of people that have moved from sneakers, from crypto, from certain spaces into Pokemon recently as an investment. I'm saying this for a reason, and I do think that this is going to be a push for the future. We're going to see some form or version or iteration of this happening very soon. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that is because I recently spent $40 on good old Pokemon Pocket. Now, I did that, and I'm going to show some of the screenplay here because I wanted to see the experience, and I wanted to understand because I don't pay for that, but I do open every day. So NFTs were known as non-fungible tokens. Now, these were little pictures of things, the apes, the whatever, now not worth that much in comparison to what they were back during COVID and things like that. And there was a lot of talk of somehow some kind of card or NFT being the way that you would access things, go to live events, or be included. Now, this made me look at the Pokemon app. And that is because right now there is a special item, which essentially you can see here. It's like, well, you're going to be able to use it in the future and nobody knows why. And I was like, this is kind of like what NFTs were doing. And I'd never bought an NFT, none of that. But there's also a reason why there's limitations on trading and stuff like that, because they want you to buy in initially and be able to collect. And as some of the sets go out of print, we are going to see trading and stuff happen at a bigger scale. On top of that, we've already seen a small iteration of this being an issue for the Pokemon Company because they released like a press release on their news thing saying like, hey guys, we know that you are selling cards and trading them, but really that's what's happening, which I understand Pokemon wanting to capture all the money they can from this, and they said that these people were essentially violating the terms and conditions. Now, obviously, when you buy a physical card, for example, like this one, I could do whatever I want. I could crumple it up. I could sell it. I could, so Pokemon never makes any more money on this. And that was the reason why we were seeing that people from NFT world were like, well, if you're the artist, every time it gets sold, you get a portion of that money. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because then the artist gets money in the long term, and they get some residual so they can survive and continue to make art, right? Like, we have favorite artists from certain Pokemon cards, and I was like, oh, that could kind of make sense. Now, I could see that same exact thing happening with Pokemon cards on the digital front. You're probably very skeptical of this, but I mean, we're seeing cards go for crazy amounts of money, and there's two things I want to say that are kind of shifting this way. And one is a criticism of my thought process of this, and one is for it. The for it is, if you told me when I was a kid that I would be paying money for skins on a game, I'd say that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, we unlock them through gameplay, certain features. We would do certain things in the game to unlock them. And that would be kind of the way that we experienced it, not like a pay to play or pay to experience all of it. So that is shifting where we're having a culture of a much younger audience that is more than willing to actually pay for a digital asset. And as much as people say, oh, no, people like the cards because they're physical. Yes, in some ways. But as everything is getting more digitized, we are seeing less value placed on physical things in a lot of ways. And so that's why I think this in years way down the road will be the case. Now, my criticism of this is a lot of people, and I've said this on my channel, like collecting Pokemon cards, buying these high ticket items, looking for these Grail cards, getting the PSA 10s, because the fact that there is some kind of social status that's there. And with that, that is cool, that you can show it off and people are like, whoa, you have this card. That's awesome, part of your collection. We can talk about it and exchange stories. But the issue is we don't carry around our cards as a stack like this everywhere we go. It's cumbersome, all that. But everyone does carry this, right? And so it makes it easier to use. It's convenience, I think, will trump. Plus the fact that they could get damaged, things like that, grading. Like, there's a whole other market, which I think Pokemon's looking to pull away from. Now, in the digital realm of this entire thing, I can sit back and relax and tell you it's not today. Yes, there are free packs, so that makes it a little less valuable. But to get a lot of the cards, you do have to actually pay to get some of the more rare cards. To make this real, there are a couple things that will need to happen. One, there will have to be a way that Pokemon has you, the consumer, pay for the currency to trade. That's one. Two is, how is that secure, safe? Because they're going to look for family friendly. That's a whole other debate, because right now you can't rip anybody off. Like, if you have a 1-star card, you trade for another 1-star card. There is no, I trade you 5 single diamond cards and you get a star. Like, that playground mentality has some protections there, so people aren't just being ripped off. Pokemon will have to gain your trust that they will not release these cards again, that they are limited, there is a scarcity, there is something to them that you cannot get in another form or fashion. And even though they are digital, could they turn on a switch and bam, you are now re-releasing cards? That is something that I think Pokemon's pretty good about not doing. And obviously they are making hand over fist of money on this. But what I would love to see is, how does the game of this interact in physical environments? Remember, I told you they're good at interacting in physical environments. If you look at the Nintendo 3DS, passing other players, you could collect things, going to live events. Pokemon has been kind of on that before anyone else. But while I think they will thrive in that threshold or something with that with Pokemon, I think we'll see happen. I'm curious how that will evolve and how peer-to-peer interactions occur. So this is where I get to the point where I'm like, I hate sounding crypto bro, whatever, but I mean, it's like one step away from being that. And I think a lot of people are stepping over it. There's a lot of speculation of the crypto sphere of like people investing in cards right now. And so I think a lot of people are focused on physical, and I think the digital aspect is there. I will say I paid $40 to open all these packs. I got a lot of really cool cards. Yes, I am including this in the video to kind of show you that the experience, I think, is still fun. I think kids today, when they're opening these packs at their home with their family, are not going to have the same issues of obtaining packs in real life. And on top of that, they can't be destroyed. You can always send your account somewhere else. And I believe we're going to have people that are going to try and remember their passwords and their usernames, because at one point this is going to be the case. But I don't think it takes away the core memory or experience of opening packs that there are. I mean, Pokemon has a business where the issue is getting product out. Any physical asset or business to try and move product is a pain. So I'm like, well, what if Pokemon just did a digital version of Pokemon Pocket TCG, and you could buy them, and if you want them, they could send them to you. And if you only want the hits, you could get the hits. And that way they're reducing even having to send these to a Target, a Walmart, a GameStop, whatever that's out there. I don't know if Pokemon is willing to kind of allow these other businesses to bleed at the mercy of them wanting to collect all of this market share, which I think they could. I really do. I don't think people are as resistant to physical versus digital in forms such as video games. I just don't think that's there. And I do believe Pokemon has had a good idea of setting trust boundaries and not screwing over people overall, generally speaking. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is a far step to kind of reach out to, or do you think that this is like a realistic idea you could see happening in just a couple years?